Hi folks, welcome back for another adventure. So if you guys remember this thing, it was destined to the scrap heap. It was hydro-locked. I took the plug out, pulled it a whole bunch of times, made sure I got everything out of there. And then I put some oil, WD-40, PB Blaster down the cylinder and pulled it over a whole bunch of times with that. So, and I had done that when I discovered that it was hydrolocked, and I figured it was probably hydrolocked with water because there was no carburetor on it, and it had just gone through the winter. So that was the story on the engine. This thing also had that steel cable, and I didn't like that, so I replaced it with typical recoil cord, and that's fixed up. I took the carburetor off and I was going to rebuild it, but there were like strip screws, and the choke part is screwed up, right? So I would have no control of the choke. So I decided that I wasn't going to fool around with the carburetor. So I found another carburetor, and it was interesting. It was from the same series. It had the same thing on top, and it had a bunch of interesting problems also. They used Teflon tape inside to hold one of the jets in. The pin for the amount of the pin on the throttle slide was all the way down, which would have been shutting the gas off. I mean, there was the idle Richener thing was only open to quarter turn. I mean, it was virtually closed. So that one had a bunch of harebrained mechanical work done to it. So anyway, I rebuilt it and just put it in there to see if I can't get this thing running. A lot of times when I fool around with these carburetors, after I kind of go through my hoard and I take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and each and every one of them has, a unique feature that somebody did to them, I tend to give up on them and just say, you know what, I'm going to spend $16 and order one on eBay. So in the long run, that's probably what this thing is going to get. And as a matter of fact, if I dug around a little bit, I'd probably find one of these gray containers that has a half a dozen of them in there from the last half dozen times I thought I needed one, bought it, and then didn't quite use it yet. So anyway, this thing is ready to start. And it's got your typical, I want to be an electrician wiring harness. When you start seeing stuff like this, I mean, it's just scary to say the least. So I'm going to use my GY6 12 volts worth of batteries, matching coil to the GY6, and my fancy bat switch for my ignition system. We'll fire this up. We'll try to pop it into gear, see if it lurches forward, and go with it like that. As I'm looking at this bike, and once again, if you look at the plastic that was on it, it was that red with the yellow stripe stuff. This junk. I mean, at some point, did I fire this thing up or not? As I'm looking at it, I'm thinking not. I mean, it could have been a couple of years ago, or over a year ago. I don't know. But if I fired this up at some point, please remind me. I mean, it's got some distinctive features. But anyhow, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. See if it's still alive. My official tripod here. Hopefully you guys can see a few things. So box on, choke on, right, wires, ground. That's good. Yeah, my experience with these things is it'll start or it'll never start. So let's hope for the best. Well, the good news is it started, and it seemed to go into gear. The fluids are positive. I got the idle up a little too high. Got some oil burning off the exhaust. That's good, doesn't it? Chokes off now. A lot of oil burning off the exhaust now. Actually, it's not running half bad. I mean, it's about out of gas. I don't have a tank on it. I just have what's in the carburetor. Not bad. Yeah, once again, considering the carburetor was somewhat of a considering how much of a mess the carburetor was and all, it actually sounds pretty good. I mean, this thing, it had a lot of interesting, like it's missing the bolts for the timing gears. It's, somebody really kind of butchered this thing up pretty good. But Harvey can make it go. Imagine if I used my talents for the good of mankind. Anyway, everyone, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Please remember to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Even if it's doing something silly like firing up a scrap all-terrain vehicle. Bye now.